Tetrax is the most prominent supporting character in this movie behind Ben and Gwen. We establish his arc with this scene where he confronts Vilgax. Tetrax was always a very interesting and underutilized character from his origins alone. This scene re-establishes his backstory from the series and furthers that arc for the character. This entire scene has a heavy contrast of warm and cold colors with the red lights from the ship and the blue light radiating from space, creating a visual conflict of the more villainous reds and the more heroic blues. This is also our first introduction to our main villain, Vilgax in present time. At first we only see the back of his chair facing Tetrax and barely see any of him. Vilgax having his back to Tetrax and not moving once he realizes he has boarded his ship shows how much of a non-threat he sees Tetrax as. In a way he is dismissive of him entirely. And on top of that he taunts Tetrax about his history with him, a history he clearly isn't very proud of. Tetrax holds deep resentment for Vilgax, and that comes through in every line of dialogue here. Here's where Tetrax's arc and Ben's arc show their similarities. Both are dealing with the guilt of their past actions and are struggling to move on and forgive themselves. And both sources of their trauma are heavily tied to Vilgax. This action scene between them was originally a lot longer, but in a way I think it's beneficial to the movie as we only see glimpses of Vilgax fighting and all we see is him being incredibly dominant, even after 7-7 jumps into the mix. Now it becomes clear that this whole scene takes place before Tetrax crashes onto the alien planet and 7-7 crashes into Earth. I really enjoyed this whole scene as it serves as a really good source of humor and comedic relief as the more straight man archetype of Tetrax contrasts heavily with these campy characters that are exaggerations of the superhero archetype. The voice actor for Ultimos specifically did a great job of bringing out the specific tone of voice and personality for the character as well as Synaptic, who he also voices. Furthermore, the actress who portrays Teeny carried the same tone and fit in smoothly. I hope to explore these characters more in the future because the fact that they're so underused in the past series makes them more of a blank slate for me to be more original and have more freedom with what I do with these characters. There are more to these versions of them outside of the camp. We see other sides of Ultimos slip through every now and then in between his drawn-out speeches and ramblings of their history. I also love this scene because it delivers a crossover I don't think any Ben 10 fan ever expected to see. This universe is very vast and I think it's cool when I have the opportunity to put these characters together for the first time and make people consider that they should maybe team up more often maybe. But the last part of this scene that puts the focus back on Tetrax goes more in depth with his arc after the revival of Petropia. Tetrax was prominent in helping Vilgax destroy his home world, which he eventually undid with the help of Ben. Although he was able to reverse the mass genocide of his race, he wasn't able to reconcile with his people after what he had done. We never really find out what happens after all was undone, but here we see that it resolved almost nothing for Tetrax, who has still been outcast from everyone of his kind. Now he resides in space with 7-7 without a real home. Now he still feels as lonely in the universe as he did before. Once he steps outside, we can see that Tetrax has landed on the same planet Ben came to earlier, creating added continuity within this story. The same Sonorosian boy comes up to Tetrax and shares his feelings of helplessness and his shame in himself. This acts as a reflection for Tetrax, who's dealing with similar demons. But this billboard of Ben that we also saw earlier gives Tetrax a boost in motivation. In an earlier draft, Tetrax would fight the ultimate Sonorosian in an arena-type area, which are a common practice with these ultimate aliens. In this movie he would have defeated this obstacle to help the Sonorosians and complete his arc, but this would have ended his arc halfway through the movie, leaving him with no goal for the second half. Due to this, the completion of his arc was changed to him removing the Ultimatrix from the main computer on Primus.
Come on, I don't abide by any conduct.